The ordinary time continues the theme of the discipleship. And added to that, we are reminded that God is the only hope of those who trust in Him. In short, the readings are about the divine assistance in our life. Jeremiah is known as a prophet of doom. He was expected by God to bring His word to the people, and he was fearlessly speaking against the king and the people. His message was that as a result of the disobedience to the covenant, the people will go under slavery as captives of King Nebuchadnezzar, the emperor of Babylon, the present Iraq. So they were expanding. King Nebuchadnezzar was expanding his territory. And he was continuing to conquer the people of Israel. And Jeremiah sort of demoralizes the army and the people. He was telling the people to give in, to give up, since it is a plan of God that they need to go through this difficulty because of their disobedience. Since he was sort of demoralizing his own people and the army, he was charged for treason. As a betrayer, he was treated as a betrayer. So, as we heard in the first reading, he is put in a muddy pit or a cistern. Even there, he was without food and dying. He doesn't stop. He doesn't change the message that was given to him by God. Then finally, he is saved by a servant of the king, who is also a foreigner. In fact, Jeremiah experiences the presence of God. He experiences divine assistance. Iram Yahu, Jeremiah, the word comes from Iram Yahu. God has raised him. That is the meaning of Jeremiah, Iram Yahu. Similar to Jeremiah, Jesus preaches about division. In fact, Jesus is known as the Prince of Peace. He brings peace, and that was the central message. But here, what Jesus is speaking is not about the external peace. The definition of peace is absence of conflict. That is the dictionary meaning of peace. What Jesus is promising is much more than the external peace. In fact, the feast we celebrated on the 10th of this month, St. Lawrence, he was undergoing a martyr's death. He was being burnt. He was being burnt at stake. And he laughingly says, "Now turn me over. This part is very well done." So the saints had that sort of spirit even to undergo suffering because they had their firm trust in God. Call to discipleship, to be faithful to the calling to the discipleship, and to experience divine assistance always. Divisions are created if you and when we stand by the gospel values. That is part of being a Christian, to be countercultural. There was a very serious situation in a particular country, in my own country, The government decided, several governments decided to have a charcoal power plant. You know, the world is not using charcoal anymore because of the hazard that creates in ecology, in nature, which is not healthy. So one bishop, in spite of all, not a single bishop in the conference supported him. He stood by the people and he was against the government. The government did not want to stop the project because already the politicians have got a big sum of commission from the Chinese government. It was a Chinese-funded project. 3 presidents continuously came after the bishop asking for an appointment. Where we live in Sri Lanka, it is thickly a population of the Catholics, and it is with the Catholics we can change the government, the whole country, the vote. So the politicians feared this bishop, and they came after him asking for an appointment to change his mind. He continuously said, I have expressed my position. I have no need of explaining them anymore. My position is cleared in media. Then the media started hitting, like Jeremiah undergoing suffering. The media started being critical. The senior group of priests go to the bishop and tells, Bishop, only you are fighting with the people and nobody else supports you. Please stop this. Let the government continue their project. He said, what I am expected is to preach the word. I am not worried about the results. History will decide what I did as a prophet. Till I die, not a single candle will be lit in this power plant. That happened. He died on the exact day when the power plant was opened. As the disciples, as Jeremiah, as Jesus, as the disciples, the baptized, we are expected to bring the good news to the difficult situations in our family, in our society, in our country, in the world. And you could find yourself in a muddy cistern. You will also be discouraged, but God is the only help of those who trust in Him.